afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is Topic of Discussion, and I'm Azia Branson.
I'm Caleb McCaig.
We are bringing you the latest in sports news this week. First up, we have USA Soccer actually played on Wednesday and against the Honduras soccer team. And how do you feel about that game? How it went?
Well, obviously it was the first game in the final stage of the World Cup qualifying for the CONCACAF. And the U.S., they already have a tough road. 3 of the first 4 are on the road. And, of course, going to anywhere else is going to be a tough place to play. You're not really supposed to win on the road. But the U.S. just did not look good. They're really, really missing Landon Donovan and Breck Shea. Dempsey was seriously the only person out there who looked like he knew what he was doing. But their next game, it is the one home game out of the first 4. They're going to play Costa Rica, and they need 3 points bad because right after that it is Jamaica and Mexico at their houses, and they've lost to both of them there plenty of times. So we really got to hope that they can come out on top and hopefully qualify. So
good luck to USA Soccer. In basketball, we have kind of a little fight going on between Kobe Bryant and Dwight Howard, with Dwight Howard missing three games for his shoulder. And what did Kobe have to say about that?
Well, Kobe, he was not happy about Dwight Howard not really playing through his injury in his shoulder. He has a torn labrum, I think is what it is. And, Kobe, he's a competitor. All he wants another ring. That's all he has ever played for since he came into the league. And the way that I see it, I kind of agree with Kobe calling him out, because the only way they can be competitive is if Dwight plays. Yeah. And so Steve Nash, he hasn't really worked out. D'Antoni sure hasn't worked out. Kobe, it's kind of a one-man team there. There's not a like a bunch of sidekicks there to help them win. So whenever Kobe called him out, I kind of thought like he was allowed to do that because he has 5 rings. Dwight has none. So in my eyes, I think Kobe knows what he's talking about. And I kind of thought Dwight, he had the right to defend himself, but at the same time, I think he didn't need to kind of take the personal jab at Kobe at the same time. So there's no way I think Dwight Howard stays there, though. So maybe they'll trade him before the deadline. We'll see.
Do you think with the season sort of getting close to coming to an end, do you think that little clash has anything to do with the chemistry on their team and how they might finish out their season?
Well, I think it'll be tough for them to make the playoffs, obviously. The only thing is that Dwight Howard, he's always kind of been a me guy. He's always just been the superstar. In Orlando, he was a superstar. Now he's second in command in LA now. I just don't think he's used to that role. I just don't see them coming together at all, and just 2 really big personalities just clashing, I feel like, nonstop since they've been there. And D'Antoni being the coach, Dwight Howard does not really fit into his pick and roll system. So,
yeah, I think the Lakers, I think all of LA and all of America is kind of surprised by how their season has gone so far.
Yeah, I definitely am.
When everyone kind of thought that it would be the top dogs this year.
Yeah, I'm really surprised, but at the same time, I guess now it was kind of too good to be true. Steve Nash has got to be like 40 now, so he's been hurt, but I think they might make the playoffs, but I wouldn't expect any kind of run from them. So.
Also in basketball news, Celtics' Kevin Garnett has hit the 25,000 points and is now 16th player in the NBA to reach that list, and only about 200 points behind Jerry West for the all-time list.
Well, that's obviously a huge deal. Kevin Garnett, he's easily going to be a Hall of Famer. The amazing thing is that most of those stats are from whenever he played with the Timberwolves, and there it was definitely a one-man show there. I don't know how many times he made the playoffs, but he didn't have much help there. So that just shows this is a great accomplishment for a great competitor and a great NBA player. So congrats to him. I expect more from him now too, just to keep climbing the board. So
yeah, and it was kind of cool because he had mentioned possibly retiring a couple of years ago, but signed a contract for 2 or 3 more years, and so it's kind of cool that he's gonna maybe break another record or get a little bit higher and do some cool things. In football news, this last week was National Signing Day for college football and high school players all around. One of the most surprising stories possibly is Ole Miss.
Yeah.
Their recruiting class for this year.
Yeah, I don't really think anyone was expecting them to haul in what that they brought. I think everyone thought they might get the number 1 recruit in Kim Diche, but that's because his brother plays there. So, I mean, you can kind of see why that worked out. But then they get the number 1 offensive tackle in the nation, and then they get the number 1 wide receiver in the nation. And you're talking about a team that went 7-6 last year. And don't get me wrong, they easily could have. They lost, I think, to A&M by 2, and they lost to LSU by a touchdown. So they competed against some good teams last year, but it's just really surprising to see a team that went 7-6 in the top 5 in a recruiting class. So I don't know, there's some kind of something going wrong down there or what, but I mean, Ole Miss, they haven't been relevant since Eli was there, so maybe they're back.
Do you think maybe that this year they could be a more competitive team and maybe be in one of the bigger bowl games?
Well, I just don't really know how quick of an impact they're expecting the guys from this class to make. I know Kim Diche will probably start, but I mean, he's just like a freak athlete. He's kind of like a Jadeveon Clowney. But I don't really know how elite that the other guys are. So I wouldn't expect for them to be like top 10 or anything. But I think they definitely have the talent to go out there and get some big upsets. So you better keep your eye on them.
Yeah, and maybe with those players being freshmen, maybe in years to come, they could be a good team.
For sure.
With baseball pitchers and catchers coming next week for spring training, King Felix is probably the most exciting story of this week with his $175 million 7-year contract with the Mariners.
Yeah, just the biggest contract a pitcher has ever signed in the history of the MLB. He deserves it. The fact that he has been on the terrible Mariners teams that he has had to deal with these past few years, and the fact that he signed like he didn't want to leave. He wanted to stay in Seattle. He wants to bring that franchise back to being relevant. I think it's just awesome whenever you see an athlete just be that committed to a town and to a team. But he's only 26, I think. So I mean, he's still got plenty left in the tank. I'm expecting him to dominate the Rangers for the next few years at least. So congrats to him. He's a great player. Maybe the Mariners will soon be back to the Ken Griffey days. I guess we'll see.
I agree that he definitely deserves it. He did really well this year, and it does kind of suck him being on the Mariners, but he clearly wasn't in it for necessarily the wins, but maybe he likes his team. And how do you think they'll do against like the Angels with the Josh Hamilton, the Albert Pujols kind of hitting crew?
Well, see, the thing is, whenever I look at the Angels, they have 2 of the best hitters in probably the last 5 years, but they're both at least over 32. I think Josh is 32 right now. I'm not sure how old Pujols is, but they're both kind of getting up there. And Josh, he's kind of been hurt. You saw last year at the end of the year, kind of just gave up. Look, it looked like he gave up on the team. I just don't think the Angels are going to be that great of a team. I know Trout is an amazing player, but I'm not expecting MVP numbers from Pujols or from Hamilton. So I could see Felix and the Mariners maybe stealing a few, but I wouldn't expect them to pull an Oakland A's and make it to the playoffs or anything.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think King Felix will do well. He's been doing well against some of the best hitting teams in baseball.
He shut down the Rangers.
AL West. Yeah, and they are one of the best hitting teams. Some interesting news with Tim Lincecum, San Francisco Giants. They call him the Freak, for multiple reasons. But one of them being his long hair that makes him look like he's about 12 rather than 20.
Yeah.
So, but he has chopped off his hair but kept his soul patch.
It's a sad day.
I think maybe after his little slump of a year last year, maybe he's like, I need to change something.
Yeah.
It wasn't quite my lucky hair anymore.
It makes sense. I mean, there's all kind of weird stuff that athletes do to get out of a slump. So it doesn't surprise me, but I mean, I will definitely miss it flowing in the wind during that crazy windup.
A little bit of dramatic for him, especially when you get the pictures of him.
I like the slow-mo.
Yeah, definitely. That's the best part. This week in upcoming events, we have the Stars.
Yeah, the Stars play tonight, 7:30, Fox Sports Southwest. They're taking on the Ducks. It's a big game. All the NHL games are big this year. They're only playing 48, so every game counts.
How are they doing so far this year?
Well, I think that they're around 500. They won the other night in overtime. They actually they are not a very good power play killing team, which is not good, and the Ducks are the #1 power play team in the league. So we got to be smart tonight, not get down a man, because the Ducks are out there and they're going to be sniping for goals. So.
All right. Also in Tarleton sports, we have the baseball and softball season just started with the softball. I think they played a couple preseason games last week. Yeah. Baseball went and played it in the Minute Maid Park. Mm-hmm. Softball plays this weekend 2 doubleheaders in the Tarleton Invitational, Saturday and Sunday. I think they play 1:30 and 6:30 both games. And in between there, I think because they're playing University of Texas, Permian Basin, and the Oklahoma Panhandle. So I think while they're not playing, the other two teams will be playing each other. Baseball will be at Ochita Baptist, and they'll play 2 doubleheaders Saturday and Sunday against them. And then in basketball, nearing the end of basketball season,
it's a big stretch.
Yeah, the men's basketball team, who kind of had a rough start this season, have now won 5 games in a row.
Yeah, no, it's big. It's big, especially coming in towards the end of the year. So I'm looking forward to it.
Me too, because I was kind of nervous because I didn't think they were #1 in the preseason rankings, and kind of surprised everyone. But they're now 13-6, won 5 games in a row, 6-5 in conference. They play this weekend at Abilene Christian, and then next week they play Wednesday, and they'll be back home next Saturday. Yeah. The women still doing very well, 11-2 in conference, 15-4 overall. That's incredible. I'm not surprised, but they do. Oh, the only surprising thing is that they have no seniors.
Yeah.
So they're doing really well, though.
That's people coming back. But guys, this has been Topic of Discussion. We've been delivering you the latest in sports news. I'm Caleb McCaig.
And I'm Azia Branson. Tune in Monday through Friday for Texan TV News at 12:30. Catch the TSU Buzz with Keanu Perez Monday at 2. Noticiero Texan TV Friday at 2. And Topic of Discussion next Friday at 2:15. You can follow Texan News Service on Facebook and Twitter. Be sure to visit our website at texannews.net.